Welcome to Distressed to Joyful, Bailey's Way. I'm your host, Bailey Raber, here to enlighten you and the rest of the world about one of the most misunderstood mental disorders out there, bipolar disorder. Each week, we're going to learn more about my personal journey with the disorder while leaving you enriched with new information on how you can help better yourself as well as those around you. Hello, friends. Couple quick announcements. So, 60 Days Stronger Challenge starts this Saturday, January 1st, 2022. I'm pumped. You're pumped. We're all pumped. So, you best get signed up for this free, let me say that once again, free health and fitness challenge now before it all begins. Once again, go to the website and you can find the sign-up link there. And just a quick reminder before we get started that this is the final episode of Season 2, end of the year 2021, and all those good things. And Season 3 of Distressed to Joyful, Bailey's Way will officially launch in February 2022. Just a reminder that I need a little time to finalize all of the updates for the new season, and I can't wait to get this going for y'all. I'm so excited. So many good things to come. So many. In case I didn't say it enough. Okay, so in this episode, I'm going to talk about how grateful I am for you. Yeah, you heard that right, for you. Because without you, this show wouldn't be possible because I'd have nobody listening, and it's no fun to just talk to a microphone in a closet by yourself if there's no anticipation of somebody actually listening to this one day, right? Seriously, though, if you guys didn't know this, if you haven't been tuning in very long, I do record in a closet. It is the entry closet to my apartment complex. Not the complex, but to my apartment unit. We have this little coat closet, and it's not a coat closet in my house. It is a recording studio. There is padding against the walls and on the floor, and I sit here by myself and talk into a microphone couple times a month. And that's not weird at all. Not one bit. That should be my what a weirdo for next time, huh? But if you've been listening in, then you've probably heard me say, maybe one day I'll do an episode where I read all of the reviews everybody's written about the show and give you all shout out. Well, today is that day. Because, guys, every time I read a review that y'all leave for me, my heart seriously melts. It melts, and most of the time I get little happy tears, which I know is weird. I've said that before, and I don't care because these reviews they're just awesome. And I realized that all of these reviews are on Apple Podcast. So, if you do not have access to Apple Podcast, you actually get to hear what people have been saying about the show, which is pretty cool, I think, because, otherwise you'd have no idea what people were saying if you have an Android. So, this is fun for you and fun for me and fun for everyone involved, I hope, at least. Side note. If anybody knows whether Spotify allows for listeners to review podcasts on the app, can you please let your girl know? Because I don't listen to podcasts on Spotify, even though I have my podcast on Spotify. So I honestly have no fucking idea if that's even a thing. I think I tried to look into it once, but I got distracted, so I never finished that little research bubble or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah. Let me know. Okay, let's begin. I am going to start from the very first review that was ever written. And you guys, I'm going to also shout out the people who did it, who wrote the review. So most of y'all just kind of put a little nickname. So that's what's going to be read. is the nickname. All right. So we've got this very first review written by TX Hokey 00. And they say it's a very vulnerable topic for anyone, be it the patient, caregiver, or family member. Only a few episodes in, but she's done a good job breaking it into bite-sized pieces. Okay, that was really nice. That was a year ago. I mean, at least a year ago when that one was written. So thank you, TX Hokey 000. 000, that's redundant. All right, and then we've got Rich_Jack who says, if you are looking for valuable content, look no further. Add this show to your rotation now. Thanks, Rich_Jack. That was nice. And then Momentai1 said, kind of late to the party, but I just checked out episode 17, and she makes so many good points. Definitely recommend, and definitely will be checking out the other episodes. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, Momentai1. Thank you. We've got Joe Bobber. I know who this is. Joe Bobber said, this podcast deals with some things that Bailey and many other people struggle with. Bailey shares her experience in a genuine and real way that you can actually relate to the situations. This helps people understand how she got through many aspects and how she handled them. Having her put her personal life out there takes guts, and I feel that it can help others who experience situations like this and gives people a beacon of hope. She shows that with determination and understanding, you can get through hard times and difficult situations. Great job, Bailey. Okay, here come the tears that you can't see. Like, I know who wrote that one, and that thank you, Joe Bobber. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're going to move on these tears, they're going to flow. You guys are never going to see them. That's what's kind of cool about podcasting is that you can't see my facial expressions. I've been told recently that I have a terrible poker face. And you can't see when I cry happy tears sitting in a closet by myself. So I probably cry like Kim Kardashian, and it's not cute. If you haven't seen Kim Kardashian cry, it's terrible. So, all right. 007 Momo 007 says, I love this podcast. So many of us have dealt with emotional and mental trauma in our lives, and yet so few of us feel comfortable or even safe talking about it out loud. The host, Bailey, hopes to change this with her podcast. She takes you on her journey with bipolar disorder and how she has managed it over the years. For those who have bipolar disorder, this podcast would help you with some coping mechanisms and show you that you are not alone in this. For everyone else, this podcast will bring a whole new perspective and will help you better understand your friend or family member who might be struggling with mental health issues. It's a must listen for everyone. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, that they couldn't have said that better. I mean, this is meant for everybody. This is not just meant for people who have bipolar disorder, but especially for people who know somebody who has bipolar disorder, because one of the things that I am grateful for is my self-awareness has increased tremendously. And because of that, I can now articulate things that I used to not be able to. And if your, friend, family member, spouse, significant other has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, hopefully me articulating some of these things that they are not in a place right now to be able to articulate themselves is very helpful. Like, I really, really hope that that's very, very helpful, because that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for you guys. I am. And then we've got Michelle_C, and I know who did this one too. She has a million M's before her Michelle. How cute. So she writes, I love how genuine and real Bailey is in every single episode. There are so many things about bipolar disorder that I didn't completely understand before, and I'm still learning. But Bailey tells stories that have brought so much insight on what it is like and also the circumstances it can bring. in life, in friendships, relationships, and more. This podcast feels personal, like she's really talking to you. And it's nice and funny to hear when she randomly laughs by herself, haha, and her personality shines through. In each episode, you can tell she is passionate about the information she is sharing. Highly recommend anyone to give this podcast a listen. Aw, thanks, Michelle. Okay, good. I'm glad that somebody appreciates my random laughing to myself because it is laughing to myself. Again, I'm in a closet on my own. I'm choosing to be in this closet. That's to point that out there. Alrighty, Spencer Foger. Aw, Spencer. Spencer says this podcast has been a great way to hear about how bipolar disorder affects someone's life, while also having the added benefit of coming from a wonderful personality. Her vulnerability and honesty are inspiring. A must listen. Aw, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Thank you. And then we've got Sliggum. I know who Sliggum is too. I like when I know who these people are. It makes it more fun. Sorry, it doesn't make it more fun, but I can picture who actually wrote it. Excuse me. So these are all fun. Doesn't matter if I know you personally or not. They're all fun. But when I actually know the person, I can picture them saying this to me as I'm reading it. So it just gives it an added like personal touch. That's all I mean. If I don't know you, still leave a review, please. I want to hear from you. I really do. I promise. So Sliggum says, Bailey is such a magnificent human being. This podcast is so genuine. Life is full of tough spots, and it's nice to be reminded that no matter what, we are not alone. Mental health is such a stigma, and podcasts like this are important to bring this very important conversation to the forefront. Thank you for sharing your story and your kindness. This podcast is a light and shining beacon of hope. Thank you, Sliggum. Thank you. That is, again, what I've been striving for is for this podcast to be a light for other people and for all of y'all to know that you're not alone. No matter where you are and no matter what you're struggling with, you're not alone. So thank you. That was very sweet. Thank you. And then Configuration B said, the topics are super important yet approached in a conversational and insightful way. The episodes are just the right length to help you grow and anticipate the next podcast. Ooh, I like that one. Good. Thank you. Thank you, Configuration B. Thank you. And then Purva Lod. Oh, Purva. Purva says that Bailey has done a wonderful job creating a podcast that is both informational and relatable. She touches on a topic that is so prominent yet still extremely stigmatized, and her personal experiences help shed light for others who may be going through similar experiences. Her controversial nature make the podcast easy to listen to, and the tips and techniques that she provides are ones that can be so helpful for others. Thank you, Bailey, for helping normalize an experience that so many of us have and for allowing your vulnerability to be our form of support. I paused for a reason. I paused because these are happy tears flowing, guys. Thank you. Like, this took a lot to create this podcast and to, like Joe Bobber said, put my personal life out there. It's taken a lot. And it wasn't an easy decision, but it's gotten easier with time. And so I really appreciate the fact that y'all think that this is helpful to others and to you guys who are listening and writing these reviews. Thank you. It really does mean a lot. It means a lot. So thank you. And then Mads2313 says, Bailey, listening to your podcast saved me in 2020 and gave me motivation to be a better me in 2021. You're so transparent, authentic, and consistent, which is what the world needs more of. I am so blessed to not only have a friend like you, but a podcast that uplifts me in my darkest time. Keep shining, keep glowing, keep growing, and keep showing up as you. Love you always. Oh, thank you, Mads 2313. Thank you, thank you. I'm very happy to hear that. And we've talked about this, Mads 2313. We've talked about this. So if you're listening right now, I am grateful for you and our friendship to infinity and beyond. And then Duffy552 says, engaging, open, honest, and candid look at life. I love that she. Oh, sorry. Wow, I cannot read. All these happy tears, guys. I can't read now. I love that she is so revealing about her journey before and after receiving her bipolar diagnosis. Her transparency leads the listener through her struggles and her triumphs. She is very honest about the things that she did that only lead to more problems along the way, and she shares some great tools and techniques she has used that have helped her tremendously along the way. Definitely worth listening to. I look forward to each and every episode. Oh, thank you, Duffy552. Thank you. I know who you are, and thank you. Thank you, thank you. Case C221 says, Bailey is a great host and talks about some truly vulnerable topics on her show. Her podcast is very entertaining, emotional, funny, and relatable. She is very down to earth and has such a calming voice, too. It almost feels like I'm chatting with a best friend while I'm listening, and it's easy to get lost in her story. I would definitely recommend. Oh, yay. Okay. I really appreciate the comment on my voice being calming because if you're not a podcaster, you wouldn't really understand this feeling, but there's this like self-consciousness about your voice. Like, guys, I hate hearing my podcast play on somebody else's phone. I don't know. It just gives me this weird, like, oh my God, shut that off. I don't want to hear myself talk. So hearing that, like, y'all think my voice is calming and like I'm sitting there just chatting to you, that's really, really encouraging. So thank you. I appreciate that. Lynn's 2025 says Bailey doesn't hold anything back. She's truthful, informative, and has a way with her words to help everyone understand exactly what she's saying. She has a bubbly personality, which keeps you interested and not wanting to change the channel. Highly recommend. Oh, yay! I love that. Thank you, Lynn's. Not wanting to change the channel. I love that. All right. And then we have Sophie HDS who says, I love that Bailey is so vulnerable yet so positive throughout her podcast. Her authenticity and bubbly personality shines through as she tells us about her lived experiences with bipolar disorder. I learned so much as she takes us through her journey of recognizing, accepting, and growing through her experiences. Very proud of you, Bailey. Oh, thank you. I like bubbly. I like hearing bubbly. Y'all are awesome. Thank you, Sophie HDZ. Wow. Guys, I really can't read. Y'all need to stop making me cry when I'm reading these. That's why. Alrighty. So Captain Awesome 14 says, great podcast with real life experiences. Thank you for sharing your story. I love learning how others manage their stress and emotions. Fun but real podcast. Oh, great. Yay. Thanks, Captain Awesome 14. I like your name too. Thank you. Thank you. And then Bibby's underscore girl underscore 56 says, Bailey is an absolute gem. Not only does she provide amazing information, she is hilarious. I'm addicted to her podcast. I highly recommend you become a regular listener. Heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji. Aw, thank you. I said hilarious the way I did because she wrote it in all caps, and I appreciate that because I laugh at myself so much that I'm glad y'all think I'm funny too. And then M77512 says, I really appreciate the work that Bailey has put into this podcast. Not only is her content relatable, but it's real. She is clear cut and honest about her struggles, which I appreciate. She makes me feel more comfortable to talk about mental health on a daily basis and reminds me how crucial it is to take care of yourself. Thank you, Bailey. And thank you, M77512. Thank you for that. Nish M9 says, amazing podcast regarding challenges and solutions to overcome mental health issues. During my long period of grad school, I faced similar situations. Oh, he said, sorry, I faced similar experiences. It was rejuvenating to hear Bailey, and I admire how simply she puts it out with ease and helps the listeners cultivate some good life skills to game up their mental health. Thanks. I know Nish M9 is a man. I know he is. He identifies as a man. That's why when I said him, I was like, oh, wait, crap. But I do know who this was. So thank you, Nish M9. Thank you. I appreciate that. Poonam. Oh my God, Poonam, I'm so sorry. Your last name is written right here, Sevilla, and I'm probably just pronounced that wrong, even though I'm learning Hindi and I should know by now. But she said, I just heard her podcast for the first time, and she really connects with her audience and tries to make them feel welcome. She really wants to help people achieve mental peace and be at their fullest. Highly recommend. And thank you, Poonam. Thank you. I do. I appreciate that. CD3993 says, Bailey's podcast often presents the daily life hard reality of a human, and she gives good ideas in order to tackle them. Highly recommend. Thanks, CD3993. Thanks. Thank you. MX Sandy 12 says, really unique and helpful perspective, inspiring and honest podcast. Thank you, friend. I appreciate that. Oh my God, sorry. This next one is my favorite nickname of all times. It is Soggy Chicken Nuggy. Whoever you are, please reveal yourself to me because your nickname, I was laughing so hard when I first read that on here, and I just can't with it. Like, I love it so much. Like, that brought so much laughter. Guys, feel free to be as creative as Soggy Chicken Nuggy when you make up these nicknames because if they laugh, you get bonus points in my heart. If they laugh. Sorry, if they make me laugh. They can't laugh. Nicknames can't laugh. But Soggy Chicken Nuggy says, Bailey tackles a lot of tough subjects around living with bipolar disorder, and she gives awesome advice about how to have healthy relationships and achieve inner peace no matter what mental health struggles you deal with. She's super honest and authentic, and you can tell she's passionate about helping others manage their emotions. Highly recommend, especially if you or someone you love lives with bipolar disorder. Thank you, Soggy Chicken Nuggy. I like saying your nickname, so thank you. Once again. And then Bright Light 213 says, this podcast is honest and vulnerable. It feels like I'm sitting on a couch with my own friend as she tells me her experiences. She breaks bipolar disorder down into plain language so that I can picture myself or my friends or family going through what she describes. As she talks about her life, it makes mental health conditions seem more commonplace. She's real and funny, and I love listening to her. And Bright Light 213, I now have a big smile on my face. Thank you for that. I appreciate those kind words so much. And then last but definitely not least, wow, I really can't talk or read or anything today. So last but not least, we've got HD Truo, who says, if you've ever had the pleasure of meeting Bailey, you know that she is the exact same person in real life as she is in her podcast episodes. She is open, vulnerable, authentic, and radiant with joy. In this podcast, she draws you in and keeps you interested with stories that are full of vulnerability, pain, heartache, courage, and resilience, all of which are the ingredients for living an authentic and joyful life. Bailey will show you the tools she used to overcome her past struggles to become the joyful person that she is today, and how she continues to wrestle with the challenges that life throws at her with grace and sensible vulnerability. If you're feeling distressed, this podcast is where you can find joy again. And that review was so beautifully written. There are tears in my eyes, joyful tears. And I love how this last sentence, if you're feeling distressed, this podcast is where you can find joy again. Because that's why this is what it's here for. And I really, really love that. I love that you included that last sentence. And I really love all of these words here. And I really love all of these reviews, guys, and all of you. I appreciate all of you for tuning in and for listening and for sharing your thoughts and your opinions like so. I appreciate that more than you guys will ever probably be able to understand. And that's okay because you don't have to understand, but you can write a review if you haven't yet. And maybe I'll do this again next year. Who knows? All right. Once again, though, thank you, all of you, for being listeners and for being supportive and for giving me feedback like you have. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. And, if you haven't already, share this show with a friend or 15 friends, whatever. The more the merrier. Because, like you guys said, that this podcast could be helpful for people who have bipolar disorder and for those who know people who do. So really, this is for everybody. Like you guys said it, not just me. All right. Well, just a reminder that this is the last episode until 2022. So you won't be hearing from me via a podcast in January. But be on the lookout on Instagram and the blog and Facebook and my website because lots of amazing things are coming. If you are not already following Distressed to Joyful _Bailey's Way on Instagram, you might want to do so now. So that way you don't miss when the new season releases, season 3. And also go ahead and head on over to my website. Go to What Is Hey Bales Doing. That's What Is HEYBAILS doing.com and head on over to the podcast tab. And if you click on season 3, you're going to have this option to sign up to get an announcement right into your email inbox when season 3 launches. And that is super important because I promise you don't want to miss this. I have so many new things coming for y'all that I'm so freaking excited about, and I can't tell you until it launches. So if you are one of those who doesn't want to miss out because FOMO is a real thing, then you best go to the website, to the podcast tab, go ahead and click season 3, and you'll find the little button that you need. I promise. All right. Well, until next time, take it easy, stay grateful, and be joyful. Bye.